how to holster your gun properly, using only the shooting hand. Remember, in all close-range double-action shooting, in contrast to bullseye shooting, your direct vision is on the target. Firing from hip level, the gun will be seen in the outer vision. Your direct vision is still on the target. For close-range shooting, bringing your revolver to hip level is faster than raising it to eye level. And that split second you save by learning to shoot accurately from this position may well save your life. Effectiveness of hip-level shooting decreases as the target becomes more distant. Therefore, at ranges greater than 10 yards, bring the revolver to eye level. Fundamentals employed here are the same as in hip shooting. The crouch, the draw, the grip, and the trigger control do not vary. It is important that the shooter does not change his method of draw when firing from shoulder level. It should be the same fast, smooth motion that he uses when firing from the hip. There is only one difference. Instead of halting at hip level, the shooter swings his weapon up to shoulder level. The time necessary to bring the gun to shoulder level will be justified by the increased accuracy at greater distances. Eye-level shooting is properly called point shoulder shooting. The gun is pointed at the target in the same way that a finger would be pointed, and the direct vision is focused on the target, with the gun sight seen in the outer vision. A basic principle in defensive combat shooting is to make yourself as small a target as possible for return fire. The officer in a crouch position is a smaller target than if he were standing upright. In the kneeling position, he further decreases his target size. To assume this position, take a short step forward and to the left. The other knee goes to the ground, and at the same time the shooter draws his weapon as for hip or point shoulder shooting. In addition to being a smaller target, the shooter has adopted a steady position. He is still mobile and can move quickly if it is necessary to do so. Maximum protection from return fire is afforded in barricade shooting. Shooting with either the left or right hand, this training simulates the time when you may have to use a building, a telephone pole, or an automobile for cover. Taking advantage of the best cover available, this officer made himself the smallest target possible. Instinctive attention to the fundamentals of defensive shooting saved this officer's life. There will be occasions when no cover is available. This officer learned his defensive positions well. With no cover available, he dropped to the prone position. With his feet together, he made himself as small a target as possible. And in this support position, accurate shooting up to 75 yards is possible. Constant practice in the fundamentals and positions of revolver shooting is required if a law enforcement officer is to achieve and maintain that shooting skill that one day may save his life. For those in training at the FBI Academy at Quantico, Virginia, a number of disabled weapons are available for such practice. Each such weapon has a red grip to indicate that it has been disabled. Here, before a full-length mirror, a man can correct flaws in his stance, his grip, and his defensive positions. Since gun battles are not necessarily limited to 5 or 6 rounds, constant practice in loading and unloading is required. For this purpose, dummy cartridges are available. Ejecting the empty cartridges and reloading is practiced and practiced until it becomes almost second nature. Any Any police department can easily disable a weapon that is beyond economical repair simply by removing its firing pin. After the disabled guns have been given distinctive red markings, they can be used in the squad room or training school. Dry firing and position practice can be accomplished safely with such distinctively marked, disabled weapons. Silhouettes of different sizes which simulate targets at various distances are another valuable training aid. Presenting a realistic picture to the shooter, they closely simulate actual firing conditions, and they can be easily and inexpensively installed in any squad or training room. Electronic courses have great value for advanced training in double-action shooting. Each hit is recorded and scored electrically. The shooter learns that at first his accuracy goes down as his speed goes up. Before long, he has learned the maximum speed at which he is able to shoot accurately. On the electronic dueling course, students are in direct competition. Here, essential speed and accuracy are developed under conditions similar to an actual gun battle. Through electronic control devices, the winner is determined with split-second accuracy. The running man target provides practice in firing at a moving target. It points up the necessity for shooting where the target will be when the bullet arrives, rather than where the target was at the moment the gun was fired. Here the student is allowed 3 shots at the target moving to his right and 3 shots at the target moving to his left. Basic principles learned and perfected on these electronic courses someday may save an officer's life. The officer fired from the hip to get the first burglar. Remaining in crouched position, he shot the second, using eye-level point-shoulder technique. He employed basic principles taught in all 3 electronic courses. Because this officer was well trained and kept himself in training, he survived. The revolver can be a lifesaver for the law enforcement officer and the person he is trying to protect. Its presence can even prevent a gun battle entirely, for the criminal will know by the way an officer holds his weapon that he is a well-trained man. In such cases, the criminal may well refuse to shoot it out with him. But there is a price that must be paid for this. That price is thorough training, constantly practiced and regularly renewed on the range. In no other way can you buy the art and skill of fine marksmanship. So learn the fundamentals of good shooting. Practice them regularly and diligently until they become an instinctive part of everything you do with your revolver.